everybody, welcome to my stay-at-home workout, day 2 of this week. That means we're focusing on the upper body pull. So I've got some, let's call them a sumo band row coming up for you. Just so everybody knows, in case you weren't watching yesterday, having a little bit of shoulder issues this week. Not really sure what it is, so I'm just taking it easy on that. So won't be doing so much upper body push this week, but we will be hitting the pull, the squat, and the hinge patterns, and a little bit of shoulder prehab, rehab work. So some nice scapular work I'll be sort of slipping in there all week. Okay, but before we get into any of that, of course, I'm going to show you what equipment I've got for today. I've just got this little resistance band here, about a 1/2 inch in width. Any resistance band on the lighter end of things will do. I got a 10-pound ball for my weight. If you've got a dumbbell, kettlebell, bag of flour, whatever, it's all good. Whatever you want to do, or if you have multiple weights and you want to increase intensity as you go, be my guest. Of course, I got my mat here. All right, that's going to be important just for comfort. And then I have a much lighter resistance band, which I'm going to use with that scapular work I was talking about a little bit later on. Just so everybody knows, I'm not wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row. I actually have multiple of these. These are my work uniforms, just to prove it. They all say something different on the back. I'm not trying to say I am a beast. That's just the restaurant I work for. I mean, I am a beast, but I'm not trying to say that. Okay, let's start with some core bracing. We've got a couple of things for you, nice and light, just to get your core warmed up and braced 360 degrees, so we get that lower back bracing in there as well. And that way we're ready for those bigger compound lifts. All right, so 2 things today. You may have seen these before if you've worked out with me before. We've got dead bug with a 90-degree march. And then we got some bird dogs, okay? So nice and simple. Dead bug's gonna look like this. You're gonna get on your back, arms up in the air. Your legs are gonna be bent at about a 90-degree angle. You see that there, bending at the knees. I'm gonna keep my shoulder blades back against the ground. Actually, I'm gonna keep my whole back stuck to the ground. So a big bracing breath is an appropriate way to start this exercise. And that really sticks those back ribs to the ground. Now I'm going to reach out with the opposite arm and opposite leg, but instead of straightening that leg out, I'm just going to bring it down at that same 90-degree angle, and I'm going to tap that heel to the ground like so, keeping the core tight, keeping those back ribs stuck to the ground. So it's the opposite limbs, and the heel taps down, keeping this angle here. I'm not going to reach super far back over my head today just because the shoulders are a little bit impinged, like I mentioned, okay? But you can reach pretty far back if you like, if that feels comfortable. So we'll do 10 per side, okay? That's 1. Keeping those lower back ribs stuck to the ground the whole time. If you need to continually reset your breath, taking those big bracing 360-degree breaths around the spine, please do so. I'm certainly doing it as I go. We're 3 in. That's 4. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a nice way to make a really simple exercise pretty challenging. Also, nice work for the ipsopsoas on the marching there too. You might feel it right up here on the top of the hip. Now we're going to flip over for the dead bugs. We're going to do 2 rounds of each of these, so you're going to get another chance to practice that. Sorry, we're going to flip over from the dead bugs into the bird dogs. The setup's going to kind of look just like the whole thing flipped right over, okay? So we're going to get quadruped here on all 4s. I'm really reaching for the ground with my arms here. I'm kind of pressing the base of my palms into the ground, all right? And you notice my shoulder blades actually protract forward, so it's kind of the opposite. On the other one, we're keeping the shoulder blades back to the ground. Now I'm protracting them forward. My spine should still be neutral, even though my upper back is higher than the lower. It should slope up neutrally right through the top of my head. I'm gonna keep that core tight. I'm not gonna let my midsection sag. From here, I'm gonna reach forward and reach back with the opposite leg and arm, like so. Once again, it's those opposite limbs. Then they're gonna come in here for a little bit of a crunch. You can really exaggerate that crunch and touch the hand to the knee if you like. I actually just sort of like to bring that elbow and that knee in close together. It's more about keeping symmetrical here and keeping stability. So challenging your balance and keeping that core stability throughout. So no big deal on that, okay? So we're gonna do 10 on one side, then we'll do 10 on the other side. Really reaching for the ground the whole time. Upper back nice and high, core super tight. 1, 2, notice I'm just reaching back with that leg. I'm not lifting the leg. 4, if I lift the leg, My hips are going to turn, my upper back is going to be, or my lower back is going to become uneven. That's 6, and that's not what I want. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So notice what happens just quick here. If I lift the leg, you see how this suddenly turns? That's not ideal, okay? So that's why we're not lifting the leg. All right, we're gonna switch to the other side now, basically just changing our balance, reaching out, little crunch as we come in. 3, 4, 5, 6, really reaching for the ground the whole time. 7, 8, keeping that shoulder blade protracted. 9, and 10. Okay, we're gonna do both of those one more time. Nice and simple. Okay? Really reaching, sorry, not reaching for the ground, pressing those shoulder blades back into the ground. We're keeping the lower back ribs stuck down, 2 big bracing breath. And then those opposite limbs, that little march right there, tapping that heel to the ground, keeping the core tight. That's 2. That's 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Flip it over. We got one more time on those bird dogs. All right, really reach for the ground. When you're reaching for the ground, you don't want to be shrugging. It's not like this. Make sure you got those shoulders back and down like that, okay? Down your back, all right? Core super tight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That protraction should really be constant. You should feel like you're working in here, reaching for the ground. That's how much you should be reaching for it. Okay? All right, little sip of water. That's our core bracing out of the way. Now we are ready for those bigger lifts. If you've worked out with me before, you might be noticing a remarkable absence of planks of any kind. Once again, that's just because I'm taking it a little bit easy on the shoulders because I'm not really sure what's going on. So I'm just not going to load that up and put too much pressure on them right now. Not to say that side planks aren't good for the shoulders because they're an awesome exercise for a healthy shoulder. I'm just not 100% sure mine are healthy, so that's why. Okay, so this one's a bit of a funny setup. I'm just going to show you without the equipment first because my setup is according to my equipment. We're just going to get into some sumo rows here, okay? So it's going to be basically a low row but with an extra wide stance. So you're going to get those feet nice and wide. You notice I got a lot of toe flare. It's like a sumo wrestler stance. That's where the name comes from, obviously. You can do squats like this, deadlifts, whatever. I'm kind of adapting it for a row here. We're going to hinge right back like that. You're going to keep the core tight. You're going to keep those shoulder blades back this time in that packed position. When you row, you're just going to sort of squeeze those elbows up around your midsection just like that. You notice my shoulder blades stay in that packed position. I don't let them reach forward like this at the bottom, and I don't crank them and bring them together and back at the top. I keep the shoulder blades packed because I want to make this row about the lower lats, all right? And that's also the reason for the degree of the angle of the bend here as I'm rowing, okay? So I'm trying to light up those lower lats there. If you have just a decently heavy dumbbell or kettlebell or literally whatever weight you want to work with, that's great. This 10-pound ball is a little light for me on this, so what I've taken to doing is stepping on both sides of my band here. It's a little bit tricky to get set up, but it might give you some ideas. And then I get my ball here too, and I kind of just get my fingers in between that band like so. So now I've got it all. So that band's just going to give me a little bit of extra resistance. I'm going to take a big bracing breath. We're going to do 10 of these. I got my shoulder blades packed. I'm in a nice bent over position with my spine neutral. I'm not bending at the back. I've actually hinged back at the hips by pushing my butt back. My spine is still straight. Okay, and from here, 1, 2, just squeezing those elbows back. 3, keeping those shoulder blades packed. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice, that's it. That's the sumo low row for today. Set 1, we are going to do 2 more, of course. Next up, just going to do some banded good mornings. Nice, easy hinge. Tomorrow's the big hinge day, so don't want to get too crazy today. Your hinge stance is not going to be as wide, generally, as your squat stance. It's really no big deal. Not too much toe flare. It's kind of just like you're standing there. But you're going to do this with soft knees. This is kind of like a Romanian deadlift variation. What I'm going to do here, I'm actually just going to put this band around my traps there. Okay, so when I get tall, it really wants to pull me down. But when I'm low, bent over, there's not going to be much tension. So I'm going to keep the knees soft. From here, my hands are just going to sort of chill out. This is almost like I'm just practicing the Romanian deadlift pattern. You might have seen people do good mornings with a bar on their back, where they sort of do this. This is our bar, this band here. I'm not really into reaching for things behind my head right now. Okay, so I'm going to keep the core super tight. To go down, I'm going to push that butt back, keep that spine neutral. You notice my knees are soft. And then to come up, I just bring the hips forward. So it's all leading with the hips. As I push that butt back, thrust those hips forward. In terms of the lift, I'm driving through the heels. You're going to feel that activate the hamstrings, maybe the glutes. That's a good thing. It's not bending over at the back, see? That's not what I want to do. Now my spine is all rounded. No, I want to keep the spine nice and neutral. That's why I push the butt back. And then I just get tall at the top. That's it. We're doing those for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to extricate myself from that one. Next up, this does involve a piece of equipment I forgot to tell you about, but no big deal really. I'm just going to use this stool here. It's going to be my box for a goblet squat to the box. This couch would work, a chair, anything that you can sit down on that's not going to move on you. We're basically going to do just a simple goblet squat, but to this box. The reason being, it's actually not just a regression, though it is a bit of a regression on a squat to no box. But powerlifters do this kind of thing all the time. The reason being, when you sit back on this box at the bottom of the squat, if you actually sit on it, you actually have to push through the heels and engage the posterior chain. So it really makes you use those glutes. So it's a great tool for sort of making your squat better, honestly, especially with heavy weights. Today, I'm just going to use it sort of to augment the other squat work that I do throughout the week. So you're going to find your squat stance. If you don't know what that is, hop up and down, land, just normal. Then you're going to twist out your heels, twist out your toes. Should be a bit more wide than shoulder width. That's usually about your squat stance. Different for everybody. I'm going to hold this weight goblet style to my chest, elbows tucked in. I'm in my squat stance. I'm going to keep my core tight, my spine neutral. I'm going to sit down in that box. All right? Notice I got the knees out, and I'm going to keep pushing the knees out the entire time. Pushing through the heels and getting up. That's 2. 3. I'm really sitting on that box. 4. Make sure you got your toes clamping the ground. 2. That's 6. 7. 8. Notice how that core bracing is coming in handy. 9. And 10. Okay. 4th of the 4 exercises today. I always like to group 4 exercises together. I'm just going to do a little bit of light scapular work. So I'm going to do a kind of a band drill. It's sort of similar to a band pull apart, if you've seen me do that stuff before with the band. These ones are called no monies. The reason being, you're going to look like this with the band in your hand with your palms up, and you're going to be spreading your hands like that, like you're emptying your pockets and you have no money. Okay? So they're called the no money band drill. Idea here is, it's all about the scapular muscles. It's all about the shoulder blades. We're sort of targeting the lower scaps with this one. So you're going to get very, very light tension on that band here. And my elbows glued to my side. My shoulders are back and down, way far away from my ears. Core's tight. I'm just sort of standing here, nice and soft knees. All right, and then I'm just going to reach out to the side like that. As I push out to the side, might feel it on the outside of my arms, no big deal, but it's really about those shoulder blades closing together and back, okay? If you've got like the corner of a wall, get sidled right up to that corner, get your spine against that corner, and feel your shoulder blades squeeze the corner of the wall. It's a nice little way to feel what's happening here. All right, palms up, that's important. A little bit of tension, just pulling out. That's 1, that's 2. Might take a while for this one to make sense, that's normal. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If it feels a little bit harder than it should, seriously lighten up the tension on that one because it's just a strange movement pattern. We don't do it a lot, so you might not be as strong as you think moving like that. So definitely lighten that one up. So those are the 4 exercises, okay? We've got the sumo row, we've got the good mornings, we've got the goblet squat to the box, the no money's. Gonna hit 2 more big sets of those at 10 each. Gonna pick up the pace considerably, a little bit less explaining this time around. We're trying to get that cardio in there too. Okay, however you're doing that sumo row, now's the time to get set up. I'm gonna get my stance super wide, that way I get lots of tension on this band. Big toe flare there. Get my ball set up here. Okay. Take a big bracing breath, make sure my spine is neutral, my shoulders are back, and I'm just squeezing those elbows into the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'll show you from this angle this time. We're getting those banded good mornings right around the traps there. I'm going to keep my stance fairly narrow, just so my arms aren't, going out to the sides. They can kind of just go straight up and down. I don't have to worry about what my hands are doing. Core tight, spine's neutral. Push that butt back. Drive through the heels. Hips come forward. Getting tall. That's 1. 2. Knees are soft. 3. Never lock out the knees on this kind of pattern. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we got the goblet squats. All right, that is just blasting me over here. Okay, get your stance, core tight, elbows in, and sit back and push those knees out as you're getting up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, nice easy band pull aparts here. Okay, elbows glued to your sides. All right, a little bit of tension, shoulders back and down, bringing those shoulder blades together in the back. Might feel you open up your chest as well. That's normal, that's a part of bringing those shoulder blades together because it's sort of the reverse of the posture we tend to be in all day if we're sitting down. Take these nice and slow. Almost treat it like a stretch or a rehab exercise. That's 6. That's 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, little sip of water. We got 1 more set. Last time on the sumo rows here. Big bracing breath. Shoulder blades are back and packed. Spine is neutral. Squeezing those elbows in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Banded good mornings. Maybe I'll do them this way this time. Okay. And we're driving through the heels. Knees are soft, hips lead the motion, okay? Core's tight, spine's neutral. If you don't know what to do with your hands, try finger guns, okay? My thumb is up by my lower rib. My pointer fingers pressing into the top of my hip. I want to make sure those fingers don't come together because then I will shoot myself with my finger guns. And if they do come together, it means I'm probably rounding in the spine. If they don't come together, it means I'm hinging at the hips, which is great. Nice little coaching tool, or a guidance tool, self-guidance. That's time. That's 10, or, you know, whatever we were doing there. All right. One more round of those goblet squats to the box. All right, I'm going to start low this time. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And no monies. Remember, light tension. This is not really a weightlifting type of exercise, okay? It's gotta be light tension for it to work. Shoulders are back and down. I'm gonna bring those shoulder blades together. Palms are up. Thumbs are out to the side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I am going to do a quick core finisher if you want to stick around. It's going to be a couple rounds here, folks. All right. It's going to be lower abs and upper abs. So lower abs, it's going to be leg raises. I'm going to sit on my hands underneath my butt, whatever's comfy, but the idea here is to help keep your lower back ribs stuck to the ground, okay? You don't want to be arching up in the lower back. You want those glued to the ground. You want the core super tight, and you're just going to raise those legs, ideally to a 90, and then ideally almost back down to the ground, like that. If you can't achieve that range of motion without experiencing pain in the lower back, for example, just reduce range of motion. So we're going to do 10, but when the legs are up there on the 10th, they're going to stay up there. You're going to keep your hands up here by the face, and then you're going to crunch and reach for the outside of that opposite ankle. These are called ankle touches. So you're going to feel this one up here for sure. And it's also a little bit of reach, a little bit of protraction with the shoulder blades there. Okay, so that one's going to be 20 or 10 per side. Okay, we'll run through that twice. I'm going to keep the pace pretty snappy. All right, it's going to feel tough if you don't get through it. If you don't get through it at the same pace as I do, like, don't worry about it, especially if it's your first time, because it's kind of like a tough little boxing finisher sort of thing. So it's definitely challenging. Good tip, point those toes up, okay? Big bracing breath into the lower back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Keep them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Little rest here. In about 10 seconds, we're going to go again. We're going to do the same thing one more time. All right, you notice my neck is relaxed on the leg raises, my head's down, and then on the crunch with the ankle touch, I don't want to really crank my neck. I want to think crunching with this whole upper part of my torso, and my neck comes along with it. My spine still stays as straight as possible. All right, tricky for sure, but something to think about. All right, get those hands under the butt there. Big bracing breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, nice job, everybody. Great work today. That is all for today. I'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow it's actually all about the hip hinge. So going to be prioritizing some Romanian deadlifts. It's going to be lots of fun. In the meantime, cool down, stretch it out, get your protein, And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe for more. If you're watching on Instagram, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.